This classic episode of the Electric Playground is brought to you by P&P Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Electric Playground. Remember, this episode first aired in 2000.
This week on Electric Playground, we feature SSX for PlayStation 2. We take a look at the first Blair Witch game. We play Ultimate Fighting Championship. We have our first look at Warcraft III. And we go back in time with BERT. Also, Tommy and Vic review games from the tracks.
Fighting game out for the consoles called UFC, which stands for Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, it's time to begin the Ultimate Fighting Championship!
Let's talk a little bit about the game. How many characters from UFC are in this thing?
Approximately, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's 22 characters and many, many different styles. See, in the Ultimate Fighting, you have to be adept not just at boxing, karate, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. There's so many different forms of fighting. And you have to be like a Rubik's Cube and know them all.
What is your personal favorite style of fighting, or do you have your own?
I have my own. It kind of has a generic term. It's called submission fighting. And submission fighting is, like we talked about, just getting someone to submit. Doesn't matter how you do it. As long as someone gives up and you're the champ, that's all that matters.
Now, did you do any motion capture at all for this game?
I actually didn't. You know, the moves and the fights that I've had are pretty famous and pretty popular. So they had everyone else do it, and I just kind of showed up and took the headshots. But they have all of the actual moves that I do. Every championship I've won, they have the moves in here. Those are my special moves. All the submission fighters, all the fighters, jiu-jitsu, sambo, everybody has their own specialized moves. So you can learn a ton about martial arts just by playing the game.
Maybe you can show me a couple moves?
What would you like? Take them down, Frank. Can I break your leg or something? Kick you in the neck, knee you in the chin or something like that.
That would be bad. That would be bad.
Elbow
stuff.
When you play, and if you're Frank Shamrock, and if you watch Frank fight on TV, you'll be Frank Shamrock in the game. They have his moves down to a T. We were playing yesterday, and he's using some of his signature moves, and he's kicking the crap out of him. But I'm a fighter in the game, too, when you get to a certain level.
Oh, so wait a second. So you're a secret fighter in the game. Now, what style do you choose?
I've been in martial arts for almost 30 years, and my style is I'm a striker. I'm a kickboxer, and I have black belts in 2 styles, but mainly I'm a striker. When it comes to submissions and all of that, this is the man you look at right here. I'm still learning. The Ultimate Fighting Championship!
Visit our website at www.electplay.com.
Now, there's a lot of people, including myself, who are in love with the game Warcraft II. Well, you know, it's been a little too long in between sequels. So I am excited to present to you Warcraft III.
Amazing stuff. I'm at Blizzard Entertainment. This is Bill Roper, and we just took a little look at Warcraft III, which is coming soon. These guys are making amazing games. Tell me what's new in this game.
It's going to be our first game in 3D, and that's a big step for us. We're really excited about that.
Right.
As you saw, continuing to make big strides on the cinematic side. Doing a lot of stuff we haven't done there before. Really trying to bring the huge epic gameplay and storyline feel into not only the gameplay, but also into the movies as well. We think there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be doing in Warcraft 3 that we really haven't seen in strategy games before.
You guys are introducing new races to the game as well, right? It's not just orcs versus humans anymore.
That's right. We've got the orcs and humans again, but at the same time, we're introducing demons and also the Undead as player races, and a 5th race, which we haven't announced yet. And another thing we're adding, which I think plays into that, is that the game has a lot of role-playing elements. And so what we want to do is to have heroes that you build up over the course of the game. So even though you're controlling the orcs, there might be like an orc overlord that you get to build up and find items for and gain levels in. And then also we want to have the game area, because we're in 3D, be really interactive. So not only would you necessarily chop down trees to harvest them, which actually we don't do in this game. We chop down trees to defoliate, to like clear passageways, to set up traps, things where we have snow effects, and all kinds of cool ways where the player can interact with the game world.
Now, because you're identifying with the different characters, then I guess you're going to be more prone to save these guys as long as you can, right?
The way we're approaching that too is, as opposed to having like hundreds and hundreds of units, we're focusing on having units that, while you control less of them, they're all a lot more powerful. And the cool thing about that is that it really encourages you to use those heroes, or those legends as we call them. So as opposed to kind of like in Warcraft II, where you might have had a guy who was really powerful, but if he died, the game ended, so you kept him in the back and all your other guys fought. What we want to do is encourage you to use him. He makes your other units more powerful. He has spells that he can use, or abilities. And also, if he dies, it doesn't end the game for you. It just means that you lose the units that he works with.
He's the source of inspiration.
That's right.
He leads by example.
He's the rallying point.
Can you tell us a little bit of the new abilities that these new races are going to have?
All of the units will have something special they can do, and that's why we're focusing on having less units but more powerful units. So even the basic Orc Grunt has the ability to go berserk and do more damage, though he takes more damage when he's like that. And for all of those things, there's graphical effects. So we really think people are going to get not only a great gameplay experience, but even more maybe they've even been used to.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
All right, thanks for coming out.
Right on.
You're not going to believe who we got coming up next. The creator of BERT.
Hi, Lee from B&B Games here. I can't wait for Tommy and Vic's review of
Cruising Exotica.
I think it's gonna be
Terrible. Just bad.
if I time this just right, I'll finish this Jethro-sized bowl of cereal just as the review segment ends. Hey, thank you for joining us every Saturday morning for the Electric Playground Classic. We are all friends in games here. If you're able, shop pnpgamesonline.com, your source for everything video games. Thank you for your support, and let's get you back to the show! Oh, ask a baby boomer in your life what a Jethro is.
Electric Playground here at Grouse Mountain in Vancouver, Canada. I'm here with Steve Rechtshaffner.
Yes, you are.
And he's going to talk about the coolest snowboarding game called SSX.
Well, it's for people like me that are chicken in real life. Like, I can't go throw a Misty. I can't do a double Misty.
Why can't you?
Because I'm a big, fat chicken.
You hired a cool snowboarding filmmaker for this game.
The fellow's name is Greg Stump. He's kind of one of the real pioneers of extreme sports cinematography. He had always done things in his movies that made skiing and snowboarding look better than anybody else could. Most of the input he gave is evident in the replay cameras, but it makes a video game look, in a way that a video game never has.
The tracks in this game are so complicated. How did you guys layer it all together?
For any course, we'd start off with a basic theme and feel and kind of level of skill. So you build the banks, you build the main path. You work a lot with it. We keep moving it around, changing the snow textures, building up the banks, the pitches. There was only a small core design team on the courses. There's Sanisha, there's Klaus, there's Cody, there was Jeff. And so what happens is these guys are not only great artists, inspired in terms of how the course feels, but they were really inspired in terms of creating wild moments.
What happens at the end?
There's a last track you unlock called Untracked, which is actually the antithesis of the whole game. A helicopter drops you off at the top of a mountain and it's huge. You can go down about 10 different ways, and there's 100-foot plus drops, deep, deep, deep powder, glades you go flying through. It's funny because the people who snowboard or ski, when they see that level, they just, wow, they can't believe it. It's like a fantasy. And the people who are gamers first and not skiers or snowboarders first, they see that at first and they go, well, I want to do more stuff. But if they've actually played through the game, by the time they get there, they're really into it because they feel like they become snowboarders.
Visit our website at www.electplay.com.
One of the coolest classic games from the 80s is a game called BERT. Well, we talked to the creator of BERT.
We're here at the Classic Gaming Exposition in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am standing with Warren Davis, who is the man that created BERT. So how old were you then when you got BERT off the ground?
I was in my early 20s.
Cool.
My early 20s. I was, barely out of school. I had one job. Actually found an ad. Gottlieb was looking for video game programmers, and I was working there the following Monday. They brought in a guy named Tim Skelly, who's also recognized as a classic game designer, and he had a track record. And he did a game for Gottlieb called Reactor.
Right. After
Reactor, they needed a follow-up, and I started to develop a game which eventually became BERT. Another programmer was experimenting with a visual look, and there was that hexagonal thing that looks like cubes. And
right.
I envisioned that as a pyramid because I wanted to teach myself how to program gravity and randomness. So I envisioned these balls falling down and plopping down this pyramid.
Cool.
Well, once I had that programmed, it was like, well, let's put a guy on there jumping around. Now, a graphic artist there, Jeff Lee, had designed all these characters for another game entirely, a game that he envisioned. Nobody was programming that game, and I said, well, can I borrow those characters? I took the BERT character, the guy with the long nose, put him on the pyramid, had him bouncing around. Okay, that's cool, he's avoiding the balls. Well, what next? One day I was sitting there late at night, and the vice president of engineering, Ron Waxman, is sitting behind me, breathing down my neck. And he goes, what if the colors change when he lands on him? I go, hey. It went on for about 4 or 5 months, I think it took to develop that game originally. And actually, I'll be very honest, to me, the squares of the pyramid were like the dots in Pac-Man. Coily, the snake that chases after you, was like bad guys in Pac-Man. The discs that you jump on and take you to the top of the pyramid were like the tunnels.
What was it like making games in that specific time period?
Well, it was fabulous. I mean, because again, we had no rules. We were making up all the rules as we went along. The only thing anybody asked of you is that you tried to be innovative. You tried to do something new and different to grab the audience, because the audience was looking for the next new thing. They weren't looking for a copy of the last thing.
Hey, it's time for the Tekken Tag Tournament Move of the Week! This week we got one for you from Hi-Hatzy all by himself. This one's special too, because it's our first counter hit. It starts off with a roundhouse right kick, then a spinning demon uppercut. Wow! Okay, here's how you do it. Right kick forward, down, down forward, right kick, right kick, right kick, and then end it with a left punch. Look at that uppercut. Oh yeah!
Coming up next, I search for the Blair Witch.
Oh, hey, Lee from PNP Games here, reminding you to check out the Electric Playground Classic every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on youtube.com/EPNTV. Brought to you in part proudly by PNP Games. And don't forget, play forever!
You want to know how to get to the running mode in SSX? All you have to do is go to the options screen, press all 4 shoulder buttons down, keep them pressed, then you press square, triangle, circle, X. Square, triangle, circle, X. And there you go. You're running!
Visit our website at www.electplay.com.
Gotta meet the Blair Witch team.
Tommy! Tommy! Are you all right?
Yeah. Are you the Terminal Reality guys?
Yeah.
You're working on a Blair Witch game, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 Blair Witch games coming out.
Ours tells the story of Rustin Parr. It's set in 1941 when the old hermit kills 7 kids out of Burkittsville.
So your game is the first one to come out.
Right.
Now, did you work with the guys who wrote the story and did the movie?
Before we even started, we spent a couple of days out at Haxon Studios, and they shared with us a lot of secrets and elements of the stories that they always knew, but they didn't tell anybody yet.
So Tatum, you're the lead tester on the game. What is your favorite part of this game?
The puzzle solving.
Yeah.
All together in the game. That was my favorite. I got scared a lot.
You'd suggest playing this game with the lights turned down?
Oh, absolutely. Music up. The sounds are a very important part of the game.
Now, did you write out everything on paper first, or did you use storyboards?
Most of it was on paper, but it was very much a team effort. We'd meet in groups. I met with Mills quite a bit, and we'd talk over what direction we wanted to go with the story. the puzzles, the scary scenes, and everything like that.
And this is the Nocturne engine, correct? Maybe
Right.
you can talk a little bit about
Yeah, this
that.
is pretty much the same team that worked on Nocturne, just rolled straight over and started working on the Blair Witch. That's why we were able to put such a large game together.
Now, Tatum, let me Tatum?
Tatum?
Tatum. Where did Tatum go? Tatum! Shut the map!
This is so not cool.
Shut the map! I told you guys, don't give her the map! So like in the movie, do you have like shaky cam perspective or what?
No, actually, the Nocturne engine is set up to use more cinematic style cameras. There is a mode that you can play in first person.
Well, like from the design point.
Joe?
Joe.
Joe!
Joe! Joe! So when's this game gonna be out?
It should be out around the first week of October, just in time for Halloween.
Oh, just the heck was that? I heard something over there. I heard. Hey. It's gone. Everybody's gone. I am so scared.
This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Game Boy Color from THQ, and I gotta say, this is a really lousy game. In between the little cutscenes with the thought bubbles and the speech bubbles, you have this really lame, tired, old action game where you play as Buffy and you're punching and kicking vampires, and then when they fall down, you grab your stake and you kill them and they're done. You just do that over and over and over again until you find a boss, and you do the same thing with him, except he's a little bit tougher. It's such tired, old, sorry excuse for gameplay, and THQ, you can't be excused for that. This is a weak game. The best I can give it is a 3 out of 10. Even die-hard Buffy fans are gonna have a real problem with this. Stay away, because like most vampires, this sucks.
Yo, don't disappear. Reviews on the Run are next. Where'd you go?
Oh, Lord have mercy! Oh! 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 The bane of moving house, a CRT this size is a beast of an appliance. I'm just hoping to add it to the collection. Granted, it functions, of course. It's been exposed to many a Winnipeg frigid winter. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. It works. It works. I can play forever. Lift with your legs.
Reviews on the Run is brought to you by Microplay, where the games begin.
What'd you think of Madden 2001 for the PlayStation 2? Woo! This has got to be one of the best looking sports games ever, all time in the history of video games.
Howard Cosell, ladies and gentlemen.
The motion capture, the cutscenes, the
coaches. I don't think there's going to be an NFL fan alive who won't freak out when they
appreciate this game.
It plays amazing.
Easy to get into.
Easy to get into,
easy to
very
pick your
familiar
plays.
to the old Madden. But I have a major issue here with the fact that it is way too easy to score.
I beat him 109 to 78.
But not only that, 600 yards of run backs.
One big improvement this year, though, over the previous Maddens, is that you can actually
There's
now
running.
run the ball, which is fun.
Yes. There seems to be a little bit of a hesitation when you go into strike and tackle somebody.
Biggest fault in this game is this whole user profile thing. I was reading the manual for a half hour, and I still didn't understand.
I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. I still prefer NFL 2K1 on the Dreamcast.
But I'm gonna give it a 9.3.
Well, let's talk about EA Sports' other big sports game, NHL 2001 for PlayStation 2.
And all the replays and all the presentation, all the in-between plays are awesome, and they can't get much better than that.
They can't.
But the game itself just left, I was expecting to see more of it.
To me, this is the best looking hockey game I've ever played on any system. The hits are spectacular. You've got big hit mode, so you can do these insanely ridiculous flipping 2 guys at a time type hits.
The commentation is very awesome.
You can't help but be excited when you're playing this game.
Talking about that stupid user profile stuff from
Yeah.
the Madden game, well, guess what? This has it also.
It's not as
It's not
confusing.
as confusing because there's not as many modes, but still, user profile is way too freaking impossible.
The other problem with the game, obviously, is you can beat the computer even on the hardest difficulty settings only a couple of games into it. And the other big deal is that there's slowdown in the game, which you definitely did not expect to see in a PlayStation 2 game. I am more of a basketball fan than a hockey fan, but I have to admit, when I started playing this game at a high speed setting, I was having some of the most fun I've ever had in a sports game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Or I'm going to give this an 8.7. I still think there's improvement to be made.
Definitely. Let's talk about Cruisin' Exotica for Nintendo 64 from Midway.
I'd rather eat rocks than play this game.
How come there are so many of these cruising games? How come they keep making it? Who is buying it?
Why even call this driving?
I know. Take physics and throw them away. Take reality, forget about it.
They actually have an underwater Atlantis track.
Well,
It makes no sense because there's no water really, but there's big whales floating above your head.
I've never seen whales just pop up like that before.
Don't you think they would have slowed it down because you're supposed to be in water? But it doesn't. It looks like you're outdoors, except there's whales.
They have these crazy voices in there too that
Which
are just
awful.
irritating right away.
No, baby! And there really is just no graphic detail whatsoever.
It's an arcade game, so don't expect to have any kind of real sort of physical resistance that you're used to in other good driving games.
Very simple. You
Just
press
you can play
right,
with
you
one
turn
hand
right.
pretty much. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10, and I really hope this is the last cruising game we ever see.
I give this a 3.2.
3.2.
Yes.
What'd you think of Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 for PC from Westwood?
It seems like an add-on. This game should have easily been an add-on,
no
not
way.
a next iteration of the
Go
game.
back and take a look at Red Alert 1. It came out like
that
5 years
sucked
ago.
too.
That was a great game.
No, I mean, that was the same old thing. We wanted the next big thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a great game.
It is an
Command &
excellent
Conquer
game.
has always been a great game. All I'm saying is that it's time to move on.
Westwood chose to focus on giving us tons of units, and then the units in this game are so clever, so imaginative, and they keep coming to you. You get hovercrafts, you get battleships,
I guess I
you
just
get all
feel-
kinds of planes, you get Soviet Zeppelins and things like that. The resource collectors have defensive weapons to help them, so they're not just out there collecting minerals and ore and getting wailed on by your opponents. This is a super fun, easy to get into.
Easy to get into.
Easy to get into, impossible to get away from once you get addicted to it.
I was
Westwood
bored.
kicks butt.
It's time to move on. I give it a 7.2.
I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Okay, what do you think of Spawn from Capcom for Dreamcast?
Never really got too hardcore into the Spawn thing, so I
Right.
wasn't really familiar with this whole Spawn storyline and everything.
Right.
But because I'm not, I didn't really enjoy this
It's
game.
absolutely a prerequisite. If you don't know anything about Spawn, you're going to think this game is pretty much a big waste of time. It's Power Stone 2 meets Unreal Tournament. And that sounds like an awesome concept, but the problems with the game are the environments that you fight in, and it's all sort of
it's all very
it can be-
closed.
yeah,
enclosed,
it is too
closed
tight,
area.
and we're talking about machine guns and flamethrowers, and Spawn has these cool chains and things. So these are weapons that you actually need some room to really enjoy.
Couldn't get into it. I was kind of disoriented a lot. And
I thought it was going to be sort of a Final Fight style video game, but it's not. It's more Street Fighter or something.
I give it a
like that.
5.4. Didn't really get into it too much.
6.5 for me. I'm giving it charity points because I like Spawn. Now, what did you think of Tenchu 2 from Activision for the PlayStation 1?
Tenchu 2?
Tenchu 2.
The thing that stuck out the most to me in this game
Yes.
was the music, because they used all these like live, ancient sounding like Asian instruments.
Yeah.
And it really brought a really cool mood to the whole atmosphere of the game.
It plays out like an ancient Japanese soap opera. You get to play the part of any of the 3 characters in the game. The thing that's amazing about the game is the environments that you go into are really, really big, and you have a lot of different objectives that you have to do.
It's really like, it's like Metal Gear Ninja.
Yes,
That's what they should have
very
called
much.
this game.
You have to sneak up on your opponents, wipe them out, and keep moving on without getting seen. This is a type of game that we really need to see on PlayStation 2 as soon as possible, or Xbox, or the GameCube.
7.7.
8.5. Check it out. Awesome game. That's all the games we got today.
Okay.
You can find all the games featured in Reviews on the Run and hundreds more at all Microplay locations across North America and at microplay.com.
Okay, check this out. I want you guys to email us your favorite video games for the year 2000 on any console. We call them our Blister Awards. Now send an email to vote@electplay.com. And what's going to happen is me and Vic are going to pick our favorite games. At the end of the season, we're going to tally up the votes and see who comes closer to the people's choice, me or Vic. I got my money on me.
Production assistance for Electric Playground is provided by Namco, creators of Tekken Tag Tournament for PlayStation 2. Activision, creators of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Spider-Man. Dreamcast, creators of NFL 2K1 and Jet Grind Radio.
Yeah. Gotta meet the Blair Witch team. Trickers. Ouch. Okay, that's a cut.
Give me that!
This classic episode of the Electric Playground was brought to you by PNP Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support the Electric Playground. Thanks for watching, and play forever.